Hi everyone, welcome to Crock at Home Art Lessons. Today we're going to be making a sculpture out of paper, learning some ways to fold paper and put it together to make it three-dimensional. So we're going to start with a piece of white paper, or you can use a colored piece of paper, it'll just be a little different. Then I found some shapes around the house to use. I wanted to use shapes to trace, and that will be more easy for people that don't want to do their own drawing. However, you could do free-form shapes like kidney bean shapes and all sorts of shapes that you might find in nature. So what I have here then, I have some Lego blocks, a square and a rectangle, a margarine tin, which is kind of a rectangle with curved edges on it. I have a big triangle, and back here I have a semicircle, right? So next thing I'm going to do is trace them with a pencil, hold them down and trace them. I used a marker to trace them with so that you could see them easier. Now, since I've got that part done, I'm going to move my shapes off to the side. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so these are geometric type shapes, but you can do free-form shapes of your own choice. I want you to notice that at this point in time, these shapes are flat, like the piece of paper that they're drawn on. And the big trick today is that we're going to take these shapes, which are flat, and we call them two-dimensional or 2D. So what they have are two measurements, that's 2 dimensions. So what they can be measured as is a length and a width, okay? And we're going to be turning it into a third dimension to add on to that, which will be height, and that makes it a sculpture. So after I get done with tracing the shapes, I'm going to decorate the shapes. And I've already done that on this piece of paper. And I'll show you what I came up with for my decorations. You can decorate them any way you want. You can even just have them cut out of different pieces of colored paper. You can even have an all-white sculpture. Or you can take junk mail, which is always handy, and just cut shapes out of that and have whatever design on it you end up with. That could be very interesting too. I chose to get some of my designs from around my house. So I thought, now what can I decorate these with? So I came up with, well, I have this ceramic fish that I bought in Mexico, and that's where I got the idea for the scales in the square. Also, the other day we went to Bayshore Park and we're walking around, and I found this beautiful piece of driftwood. And if you see, I don't know if you can see it very well in this picture, but wood, or any kind of wood, has grains in it. And can you sort of see the curvy, wavy lines that are in this? That was my inspiration for the design on the circle. This scroll design I found on my wall in the shape of a candle. Across that was a candle holder. The sun shapes that are in this rectangle were inspired by this star face or sun face that I found in Mexico. So you can just look around your house or look around outside and find your designs from that way or in nature. So that's would give you a little more to do for this project. That might be kind of fun. Okay, the next step is that I am going to use some color on these shapes. Now, it's good to color both sides if you want. For example, this sculpture, I'm showing lots of designs in bright colors in it. For that, I used markers. And if you turn it around though, It's still a sculpture, it's another side of our sculpture, but some of the sides were white that I didn't color both sides on. I still think they look good. So you can decide. You can have a back and a front to yours if you only want to color one side in. So now I have all of the different shapes colored. I used marker. You can use marker, colored pencil, crayons, anything you'd like. And I have them cut out also. The next step is to make them three-dimensional from two-dimensional, and you do that by folding them or curling them. To start the sculpture, I'd like to pick out a piece that would make a good base. So I don't want to use a real tiny piece that is going to be hard to put a lot of weight on. So I'm going to choose one of my larger pieces, and I think this will probably be my base. So to get this to stand up, it's not going to stand up that way, so I'm going to have to fold it. And I can easily fold it in half, line up my edges, fold it right down the middle, and now it will stand up just like a tent. Okay, I'll move it back this way. Now, what do I want to do next? The smaller pieces I probably want to add last because they're going to be less heavy. And so this is probably the piece I'll start with next. There's a lot of things I could do with this, a lot of different folds. And if you click below, I should have a picture on there of many different folds that you can try to make this sculpture out of. So I think what I'm going to do with this is a little bit of curling. I'm going to take a pencil and start at the corner. Oh, by the way, I just colored in a solid color on the back to save some time. If you get tired of coloring, you can do it that way too. So I'm curling one side around my pencil until I get, about the middle of the shape. And then I'm going to let go of it and pull the pencil out. Well, now I have a shape that has a curve on it, which will allow it to stand up. I can add that shape now to this one. I could also curl another corner, but I think I'll just leave it this way because it shows up a little better. How do I add the shapes together? Well, I could have them be next to each other, or I could have one on top of the other. One way to add the shapes together would be to cut some slits in them. So I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut a little bit of a slanted slit through both sides of the first shape, the base shape that I put in, and I'm going to try to fit this shape into it. And you'll have to wrestle with it a little bit to get it the way you want it to be. Look at it, turn it around. It's going to look different from different sides. And then decide if you like it or not, or if you need to change it. I think I'm going to pick it up a little bit. And maybe I'll keep it like this for now. Then I'll take another shape. I'll take this shape right here. That's a rectangle. And I'm going to fan fold it. To fan fold, you take the shape and fold maybe about a ½ inch or an inch on it on one side and turn it back the other way and fold it again. And you go back and forth again and again. So I'm going to keep fan folding it till I get to the end. And then I sort of get an interesting shape that's like an accordion fold. And it can be a lot of interesting things. It sort of looks like a staircase going up there. I can add this onto one piece, the other piece, or I can add it onto both pieces if I want. And I think I might do that. So let's see. I'm going to cut a slit in the triangular piece, a long slit, I can push the accordion fold into that, and then I want it to attach to the top of my first fold too. So I'm going to cut another slit and put the other side in there. Again, you have to wrestle with it a little bit to get it to do what you want it to do. Okay. So this is what I have so far. If I turn it around, you can see different colors and shapes. Okay. Now I just have to decide what I want to do, and I may want to go up on this side a little bit to balance it. So here I have this half circle shape. And I play around with it a little bit. I think I'm going to put it right on top here. But I'll make it curve forward a little bit on the ends, just to make it slightly more interesting. Okay, so I'm going to attach it by putting a little slit here and a little slit here on this side, and see if I can fit this in. You can always change things around if you don't like them. Okay, so now our sculpture has changed, and we can look at it again from all sides. One last piece. What do I want to do? It's a square. I could make it triangular if I fold it. I could make it into a cone shape if I roll it and put the two sides together, and that's interesting. So I think I'll do that. I roll one side, and then I'm going to roll the other side. And it's kind of shaped like an ice cream cone. I like that. Now, do I want it down? Do I want it up? I'm not sure. I think I want to add it right here. I'm not sure how it will look, or if I'll need to steady it by adding it to another spot. I think I do need to steady it. I'm going to cut into this other shape and put one edge of it in there. Well, it doesn't look too much like a cone anymore, but it is standing. So that's what I have. Now you may see something in that. Maybe it looks like an under the sea picture. Maybe with that big triangle, it looks like a boat with a sail on it. If you want to come up with a cool name for this, you can. So, I hope you had fun doing this. And again, if you click on some of the pictures below, it will give you some new ideas. Thanks for listening today. Goodbye.